Now then, good day to you once again. I'm in a blessed state right now because I've had my bread and coffee this morning, and I've also been watching Slavoj Zizek, so I'm feeling particularly intelligent this morning. Mm, the bread is excellent as always. It's Finnish rye bread. And what we are going to talk about, what we are going to discuss today. Hold on, let me just get my arena open here. And let me get chew down on my bread so that my narrative doesn't get mumbled. Mm, Still, we are trapped with this mediocre deck as we were before, and it doesn't really matter because I'm really trying to dive into the mindset of a depressed player this time. Mm. I've read a few blog posts on concerning this gaming mentality, and today we are trying to perhaps confront some of the difficulties that a lazy, depressed, antisocial player might encounter with his travels to the Hearthstone universe. We will play at the same time, and the outcome is irrelevant, but I'm hoping we will lose. Because this isn't an art of losing anymore. This time we are going to try and distance ourselves emotionally and see how we can better ourselves even though we possess a mediocre strategic thinking ability. Like for example, I'm not very good at chess, nor do I wish to learn all the cards. So it is most probable that we will get our asses handed to us because we aren't really aware about all the new cards. We just like to keep it simple and classic. So what can we do then to make best of every game? I will show you. Sorry, eating bread while we load the screen up. Eating bread with insane enthusiasm after watching Slavoj Zizek. I also have my notes here on distancing yourself emotionally, but never from logic. And we will try to apply this very special knowledge to our match. And even though we will do our best, it will most likely end up with us losing the game. Because, simply put, the most normal, mediocre Hearthstone player will not um, have the potential of learning or the energy, mental energy of trying to learn. And from my point of view, I'm an MMORPG player, and I've always gone through this state of grind where I really can make the most use of my ability, that is decisiveness, which comes from not getting the social approvals when I was young and striving to get social acceptance from online games. And because of this social outcasts mentality, I never I started to become depressed, and that is okay because once I got depressed, it's not okay, but it works in the context of this video. Uh, when you are depressed, you want to get the easy way out. You want to grind, and grinding is something you can do on a basic level on Hearthstone, but you will never be above mediocrity in players. So this is what makes a mediocre player. Uh, for example, our past hand, I should have not mulliganed those cards, maybe, because a paladin is probably a bit slower, we might find. So that's how it works when you are a social outcast. You really don't have the um, potential of learning, and you might even be a simpleton of sorts So perhaps Hearthstone isn't a game for you to play. And I've noticed this on many occasions that I end up losing all the time. We don't really have the full use of that secret yet, and he might even be able to get rid of our minion, and thus the secret will be lost. But here we could get a card advantage, and I'm not sure if we want to wait for this to combo with anything. But really, honestly, it's not about the game this time, because I'm not even sure. It really is pretentious of me to make that assumption that every player that is really talented nowadays in Hearthstone, that they were bullied or social outcasts or what have you. But I'm trying to make this making this bold assumption that the majority of HS players are, well, not majority because it's somewhat popular these days, but some of them really are. How can I tell this? That really is bad for us. Social outcasts of sorts. Let's see now. What else can we do? And when that happens, it really... we didn't get that damage, did we? That's pretty goddamn unfortunate.
I am sorry.
Ah, are we lagging out of the game now? Ah, yeah, it was slightly lag. But I've lost my train of thought here. When you are depressed, you expect that only grinding will get you where you want to go. But in this game, you really need to learn the cards, learn the new expansions, and learn how to fully play around the opponent's cards. And this is not always the possibility for someone who is trying to get social acceptance through the game. Through a game of sorts. I think that social acceptance is more heavily implied in MMORPG, but then again, we already see the forming of certain person cults following for let's see, for like famous players like Trump or something like that. So I'm not sure if Trump is striving for social acceptance. I think that he is like a finished package, so to speak. You know, when he plays, I see that he maintains a sense of calmness every time. So I don't really think that if he had any lack in Zen in any state of his life, it most likely doesn't show into the game. Let's see. I was going to play equality, but we won't be getting the maximum value out of it this time. But we might equality and then maybe force him to lose his tank. But he probably wouldn't. He would still be able to play around our taunt. And this is something he might even be able to play around very easily. So it's too early for equality, it's too early for a taunt. Maybe this will slow him down. Not much, but for a while. Anyway, I'm not thinking that I'm I'm an exceptional player or even mediocre, but I'm thinking about the mindsets of players that participate in Hearthstone. Because in all honesty, there are a lot of people who love this game but still are struggling because it's not the game isn't what they thought it would be, and then they will be frustrated because they see now that you can keep mashing the buttons and hope for the best, but it really requires you to learn all the cards and really love the game. It's not always enough to love the game, but then again, that's really good for us. I have a certain love for this game since I played MTG Magic the Gathering in the year shall we say that's somewhat okay. Maybe we should postpone. I'm really not sure. We can combo, but I've loved Magic as a kid, so it was a natural transition for me. I knew something of the mythology of World of Warcraft, but I've been playing Hearthstone for over a year now. And it really feels like that I'm doing most of the things wrong, since I really feel that I'm all about the grind. Equality consecration, we are going to go with that route, but can we play anything before cleaning his table? Is there anything that would grant us value? Probably not. I'm gonna go with our minion and see if he tries to really overpower me this time. So we might mount a comeback that way. But I love Hearthstone, but I've never ever been able to relax my mind. And in the early phases of the game, I was really about frustration and poor self-esteem. This is something that it really consists. It really is the same to me as at this, when we, even when we speak about it, as we are speaking about it now. The truth of the matter is that I have very poor self-esteem in Hearthstone and losing frustrates me. But when I'm creating a video, I can distance myself emotionally, but my thoughts are elsewhere, so I can't really make the best out of my game. The game will be lackluster in my I will be lackluster in my strategic thinking at best. So this is why I will most likely end up losing. But losing is good in this context. We have really weak cards now and he's going to be able to mount a pretty strong comeback. But let me think. Oh shit, that is kind of horrible. We don't need a double taunt. We don't need a spell damage right now. So I'm gonna go with our value. This is probably questionable value, but if we put it behind the taunt, it might slow him down a bit. And when the tempo has shifted towards us, we have practically lost this game already. But I remember being in junior high and being bullied, and when I discovered MMORPGs, I strived to get social acceptance from the games. And when I did that, I really found that it was incredible. I was already suffering from depression, but I could get people's attention by grinding 16 hours a day and probably like being a strong priest or whatever. And when that happened, that was a really strong card from him. Probably he has a follow-up. No, he didn't. But when this happened, I really got the sense of that I'm really doing well for myself now, and I tried to apply the same mindset to Hearthstone all the time. I was like, okay, we are in. He's going to be able to mount an impressive comeback through consecration now, but
The light compels you.
that's not too bad. Maybe he'll play consecration. And when I tried to apply the same grinding mindset to this game, I was like, okay, now we can probably get social acceptance through this game, and then I was like, let's play. But then, okay, let me think now. This is really something. We're going to play this. Then we're going to play that, and then we're going to probably get out of concentration range or save our guy. Then that, And honestly, when that happened, I found myself depressed and frustrated because of my poor self-esteem and my social outcast status. So I found that this game is like I started to attack the game itself and the people. The game is unfair. It's pay to win and everything like that, and you can never get the cards you want. But if you were able to distance yourself from the game and distance yourself from your emotions, which is really difficult when you are I'm really looking for the word in English because I don't have the word right now. You know, being an outcast, being bullied. So when I lack the mental power, you embrace giving up, and that is horrible. So only in a sense, for example, right now, I might be able to win in a rare scenario, but it really you can really see that I'm really now invested emotionally in this game because it seems that I might have a small chance. You always protect yourself by
Just
telling them that you are going to lose because it's the safest bet you have. And then oh shit, that really is bad. But it's somewhat of a struggle. We still have a taunt. Uh,
put this apple on your head.
and then, and then you don't really need to invest emotionally in the game. You just tell yourself that you're going to lose.
For justice.
So that's really a mistake for us, but we'll see. Uh, and when you don't say that you are going to win, you are like, okay, losing doesn't bother me, but in reality it always does. And okay, let's see, that really is bad one. No, not bad enough. But when this happens, you will really be in a state of denial that it doesn't affect you. But I have lost maybe 2,000 games,
Victory is yours.
2,000 games in this Hearthstone thing. And 2000, after 2000 loses, I really started to wonder because for example, you lack some of the abilities: strategic thinking, thinking forwards, and thinking about the opponent's cards, what he might cast on certain turns, and does he still have a coin or not, and what are the new expansions. So this was a really weak opponent in a sense because we didn't we didn't lose even though we were going into Slavoj Zizek territory. That really is um, delusions of grandeur for me to say about this, but because Slavoj Zizek is like a god, and I was merely inspired by him to try to tear apart the layers of my mentality when playing this game. So basically, a bold guy would play another game, but when the reality is this, that some of the things that you do while playing are a learning experience. Most of the things are a learning experience, but when you are hampered by low self-esteem, you might not even value the losing. You might even become depressed and make more mistakes through the losses you have accumulated, and then you will end up making even worse moves for yourself. But most likely we'll end this on this note. I'm still going through my notes here on social acceptance and striving to gain social acceptance. Uh, and and you have to keep in mind that this wasn't a realistic depiction of a higher caliber thinker in Hearthstone, but rather a mediocre, frustrated player that most probably the majority of Hearthstone players consist of. Um, I've seen people that are more talented than me in this game, but I've also made pretty good wins while I go along, and I'm not sure about the meaning of when you get into this game. because there are different phases when you get into this game, and it might prove to be an advantage or a disadvantage. So we'll have to examine the things more. And while I've been most grateful that you have watched the video this far, and I'm slightly disappointed that we didn't lose this time, and in retrospect I would have liked to make possibly make a script for my video, because a script would have enabled me to really get my logical thinking out there. So now it was just hampered by trying to follow the game that was in progress, and I really didn't get my points across as clearly as I would have wanted. But now I will bid you farewell, and thanks for watching my Hearthstone video.